out there.
Hey, Crystal, that's right. We were just told by the president's Secret Service staff that we are about 4 minutes now from minutes away from touchdown. The atmosphere here is actually pretty calm. When we got here, there was already a group of Trump supporters outside the gate waiting to get in. As expected, there is a lot of media here as well. All of us are waiting to just get a short glimpse of President Trump as he arrives. Now, he did leave about 20 minutes late this morning, which put his touchdown here behind schedule, but we're about 3 or 4 minutes away from that happening. He will be approaching from the north. They'll do a quick little turnaround and then park right behind us here on the tarmac. Now, once he's gotten everything together here, he will get into his motorcade. Then he will drive to downtown Midland for a private luncheon at the Marriott. And once that is complete, they'll get back into the motorcade, and then they will go to oil rig here in Midland and then complete his day. So the crowd here, it's pretty quiet, but the anticipation, you can actually feel it. A lot of banners, a lot of flags, a lot of Trump signs. So a lot of support for President Trump here in Midland International Airport. So we're just waiting for that touchdown to happen here in a couple of minutes. It should be happening any time now. They'll be approaching from the north, circle around behind us, and then park behind us here on the tarmac. So we're just waiting for that to happen, Crystal.
Thanks, Victor. Well, crowds started lining up this morning at the airport, hoping to see the commander-in-chief. We spoke with a few supporters who lined up. Even the smallest of fans were out there showing their support.
Okay, and as you can see, Air Force One just touched down. It is coming out around in front of us here around the media platform. President Trump inside that plane right now. They're going to finish their taxi. They're going to come around, make a U, and then pull up directly in front of us with the nose facing north. This will be President Trump's first visit here to Midland, Odessa. And he's got a busy day planned ahead of him, too. He'll be going to Odessa for luncheon and then visiting an oil rig in Midland once that day is complete. So there are a lot of people standing outside the fence waiting to get a glimpse of him. There you can see the front portion of the plane heading towards the media platform. Now, we're a pretty good distance away from the plane, and you can hear the sound of those jet engines from where we are, and they have slowed down quite a bit. Secret Service all in their place, security, and military members waiting to greet the president as he comes down Air Force One. And there you can hear, again, the sound of the engines. Air Force One, President Donald Trump making their way toward the media platform. It's getting pretty loud here at the media platform, so Crystal, I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to you while we watch President Trump get off the plane.
All right, it's a little bit hard to hear out there, especially with those huge engines. That is a pretty impressive sight to see Air Force One. Maybe we can go back and show some of that video there. We have some fun facts about it. Technically, Air Force One is used to describe any Air Force aircraft that is carrying the president, but since the middle of the 20th century, it's basically any of 1-2 aircrafts that carry the president. Now, President Trump has a very busy day today. As soon as he gets off this plane, he will be greeted and then been taken to the Odessa Marriott, where he will be doing a fundraiser. That fundraiser is not only for the Republican Party, but it is also for his re-election campaign. Now, we understand that Senator Ted Cruz flew in with him today, so here in just a moment, we're expecting to see who came with him. We've also been told Rick Perry, the former governor of Texas, who served as energy secretary to President Trump, will serve as a West Texas guide and emissary to the oil and gas executives that he's going to be meeting. So once he gets off the plane here, he'll go to the fundraising luncheon. Then he is expected to go to a drilling rig in Midland. It is a Double Eagle Energy oil rig. It is being hosted by Double Eagle founders Cody Campbell and John Sellers. The president is expected to talk about his energy policies, such as how the U.S. is achieving energy dominance by cutting regulations, simplifying the permitting process, and encouraging private investment in energy infrastructure. Of course, a lot of excitement. You probably noticed the crowds, if you drove by Highway 80, have been pushed back away from the airport. That is for the president's safety. The people that are on the tarmac are media, a few representatives to greet the president when he gets off the plane. Again, a very impressive sight that you are looking at right now. We are just waiting to see when the walk-up will attach to the door so we can see the president. A lot of people like texting us, calling us today, wanting to know when the plane would be arriving, and that plane is absolutely huge, as you can see there. Again, this is the president's 16th visit to Texas, and this is his first time coming here, so pretty exciting. He is the first sitting president, or the second sitting president to visit here, first time to actually go to Odessa. We're going to go now, I think, to Victor Lopez in just a moment. As he told you, when that plane landed, those engines are so loud, it's hard to hear yourself out there. All right, let's go ahead and go to Victor right now and see if we can hear him, and he'll have more with what's going on the tarmac. Victor.
We are waiting still for President Trump to exit Air Force One. Now, as you can see, the Secret Service vehicles have already pulled up. We have one standing and sitting directly in front of us. There are three DPS troopers and another Secret Service vehicle just to the front of Air Force One. The stair unit has not been pushed up to the plane just yet. We are still waiting for that to happen. Once the door opens and the platform goes up, we will see President Trump exit Air Force One. The crowd here, as I said, they haven't started cheering as of yet, but I expect that will change as soon as that door opens and we get our first glimpse of the president. The Secret Service, as I said, already in position. Several Secret Service vehicles for the motorcade already in place, waiting for President Trump once he comes off the plane. Now, there is to our right of the media station, there is a section for special guests and dignitaries. They are also waiting. Oh, there's the door. The door has been opened. They are pushing the staircase up to Air Force One. So we will be getting our first glimpse of President Trump anytime soon. Dignitaries being escorted to the plane right now, to the bottom of the stairs. They are attaching the step unit to the plane, and any moment now, Crystal, we should be seeing President Donald Trump as he makes his first appearance in West Texas. Secret Service vehicles already in place, as I said. And I expect, if I know this crowd, once we see the president, this crowd is going to erupt in applause and cheers. So we'll stand by for that. As you can expect, security really tight here at the airport today for this visit. And actually, I just saw Governor Greg Abbott pull up to the plane. He is here, shaking hands with people in line. He will be among the first people to greet President Trump as he gets off of Air Force One. And that first appearance should be happening any time now. As we said, the door is open, stairs up, dignitaries are in line. We see some movement inside the plane right now, inside the door. And there is President Donald J. Trump, first appearance in Midland, Odessa, waving to the crowd. The crowd to our left is applauding, waving back. President coming down the steps, waiting to greet the people standing in line. Among those, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Also in that line is former Governor Rick Perry. following the president out of the plane are his group of staff members. Now again, once he greets everybody here at the airport, he'll get into the motorcade and he'll head to Odessa for a private luncheon at the Marriott. Also among the dignitaries is Representative Mike Conway, and as I said, former Governor Rick Perry in line. A rather historical event, as I said earlier, for President Trump. He is the first sitting U.S. president to visit Midland, Odessa since President George W. Bush. And just to give you a general idea of how big Air Force One is, guys, the engines are about the size of one of those Secret Service vehicles. And that's just height-wise. That's not to mention how big the engine itself is. And there are 4 of those engines that are powering this airplane. President Trump exchanging words with the people in line waiting to greet him. Okay, once he comes up to the end of the line, as I said, he will be getting into the presidential motorcade. He will be leaving the airport and they'll be heading to downtown Odessa to the Marriott, brand new Marriott in downtown Odessa, for a special private fundraiser hosting him. After a few remarks there and lunch, the motorcade will then travel back to Midland and visit an oil rig here in Midland County. And he's also expected to make some remarks once he's there at the rig site. President now receiving gifts. He's got an Odessa High School football helmet that I believe he is autographing, actually, handed to him by one of the Odessa High School cheerleaders. So that'll be something to put in the trophy case at OHS for sure. President Trump just signed he just signed the OHS helmet. Now he's being handed a Permian helmet. He is signing that as well. So both local high schools will have a memento of his visit to Midland, Odessa. Okay, President Trump waving to the media. He is now about to enter his vehicle. Oh, he's coming around the crowd, waving to his crowd of supporters. They're waving, cheering, showing their flags and banners. Groups of people showing Trump 2020, 4 more years, and different types of signs. Okay, it looks now he is getting into his vehicle, the motorcade, getting ready to leave the airport on their way to downtown Odessa. Okay, Crystal, President Trump's vehicle is now leaving the airport, so nothing more to show here. Let's go back to you.
All right, pretty impressive there. President Trump just exiting Air Force One. He was greeted by several dignitaries, including the governor of Texas. We've also been told that Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, along with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, is supposed to be accompanying him to a fundraiser that is coming up here momentarily. That will be held at the Odessa Marriott. As you saw, Rick Perry, the former governor of Texas, who served as energy secretary in the Trump cabinet for nearly 3 years, was there. He will be his basically West Texas guide and emissary to the oil and gas executives. So again, Trump's first stop will be at the Odessa Marriott for a campaign fundraiser. He's actually raising money for the Republican Party and his re-election campaign. Ticket prices, they range from $2,500 for the lunch to $50,000 for a photo with the president, $100,000 to join him in a roundtable discussion. As you can imagine, people are lining up in Odessa as well to try to get a glimpse of the president. Sammy Steele joins us live from Odessa with more on that. Sammy, what can you tell us?
Hey there, Crystal. Yeah, I mean, a steep ticket price for these luncheon tickets, but the folks that we talked to, they said, hey, it is well worth it to see the active president of the United States here in their hometown. But we did talk to some people where this isn't their hometown. They actually flew as far as Phoenix. We talked to some people in New Mexico who are big oil and gas supporters. That's why they say they're voting for Donald Trump again. They want 4 more years. They can't imagine Joe Biden as their next presidential, or they can't imagine him as their next president. They are completely for Donald Trump. Now, supporters here, they tell me they would have donated that amount of money no matter what to his campaign, but they said, you know, hey, this way we do get some food. So I'm gonna take a look here, and Pearson, I'm gonna have you turn the camera this way a little bit. We've got a working team. You can see that we have got some buses behind here. We're gonna make this interactive. We've got some buses here, and that is where President Trump is expected to come down in his motorcade. Now, media is told to just stay right here outside of the conference entrance to the Marriott, but we're told the motorcade is going to come around this way, and President Trump is going to be entering the Marriott. You can go ahead and put that down. Entering the Marriott in the parking garage. So it's going to be hard for the public to see where exactly the president is driving in. And like Victor said, he's getting in his car now. That's going to be a quick commute here to Odessa for this luncheon. Now, I got to tell you, there's not a line out here now, but when I arrived around 9 o'clock, the line was long, completely wrapped around this building close to the Ector County Theater, and people were here as early as 8:30, even though the lunch, you know, is closer to noon, here as early as 8:30. Now, I have been told, I'm gonna fix our camera here a little bit, I have been told by people with the Trump campaign that they are screening people before they go into the luncheon. You know, the president is taking as many precautions for this virus as he can. I'm going to have more details coming up on News West 9. Back to you, Crystal.
All right, thanks, Sammy. Well, after that fundraiser, the president will tour a Double Eagle Energy oil rig in Midland. Here's what it looks like. This picture is from the Midland County Republican Women. His hosts will be Double Eagle Energy founders Cody Campbell and John Sellers. We had a chance to speak with them.
We built our company from the ground up. It started out with just my business partner and I, and you know, just the two of us. That was it. We didn't even have an office, and to now be at the point where, you know, we can entertain the President of the United States is a pretty big deal to us. Huge honor, and we're just really proud to do it.
The president is expected to talk about his energy policies, like how the U.S. is achieving energy dominance by cutting regulations, simplifying the permitting process, and encouraging private investment in energy infrastructure. Well, of course, the president just now leaving the airport. We're going to check back in with Victor for one more time to see what's going on right now. Victor?
Thanks, Crystal. Now, everything here at the airport is done for now. You can look over my shoulder right now, and you can see that Air Force One is sitting there. The bottom stair has been opened. The president has already boarded his motorcade, and he's on his way to downtown Odessa, escorted by Secret Service and a lot of other vehicles. He's going to downtown Odessa, as I said, for a private luncheon at the Marriott. After that, he will be boarding back his motorcade again, headed back toward Midland for that visit to the oil rig, and then he'll make some remarks there, and then he'll come back to the airport and he'll board that plane right there once again, and then he'll take off and he will complete his first visit to Midland, Odessa. The crowd here very appreciative. They roared, they cheered, they waved, they had their signs, and the president showed his appreciation. He waved back. He even waved and smiled at the media. So until he comes back into the airport, there's not going to be a whole lot to do here, but just sit and wait for that to happen. Crystal, back to you.
All right, thank you, Victor. Of course, if you are driving by the airport, you will not miss it. Air Force One is huge, and we have a couple of fun facts for you. If we can take a look at some video, if you're happening to drive by, look at that. Pretty impressive there. Air Force One is capable of actually refueling mid-air. It has unlimited range and can carry the president wherever he needs to travel. He can also refuel in air. That's pretty amazing. The onboard electronics protect against electromagnetic pulses. Air Force One is equipped with, of course, secure communications. It basically functions as a mobile command center in the event of an attack on the United States. Now, inside that beauty right there, the president and his companions enjoy 4,000 square feet of floor space on 3 levels. That is 3 levels high, folks, including an extensive suite for the president. There's a large office, conference room, lavatory. By the way, Air Force One has a medical suite inside it as well. It can function as an operating room, and they also have a doctor permanently on board. The plane's 2 food preparation galleys can feed up to 100 people at a time. There's also guest quarters for people who travel with him. Air Force One, by the way, is maintained and operated by the Presidential Airlift Group that is part of the White House Military Office. So pretty impressive there. And Anthony, it goes fast.
Yeah, it goes fast, over 600 miles an hour, much faster than a commercial airliner. But you mentioned people at the airport could be driving by, possibly seeing Air Force One, and there actually is some traffic problems right now on Highway 80, Business 20. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Waze maps, and I'm going to zoom in here to a few of these trouble spots. You can see the airport right there, and traffic is down to 9 miles an hour there on Highway 80, just right next to the airport. So 9 miles an hour right there. You might want to find an alternate route. Some also slowdowns there on I-20 as well, not nearly as slow. And we also see some slowdowns here on I-20, just on the southwest side of Midland, down to 4 miles an hour in this location. So almost standstill traffic right there on I-20, just on the southwest side of Midland. But again, a big area of concern, now down to 7 miles an hour there on Highway 80, south of the airport.
And that's dangerous because we all know that's 65 miles per hour there. So if somebody's coming up from behind, it's almost coming to a standstill. I'm sure people are slowing down so they can take a look at Air Force One.
We have a slowdown too on I-20 on the southeast side of Odessa, also I-20 southwest side of Odessa. So lots of slowdowns right now because of the president being in town, especially right there south of the airport.
All right. And again, when the president leaves today, he's actually going to be going to Washington, D.C. He'll be holding a meeting with slain Fort Hood soldier Vanessa Guillen's family. They're going to be talking about some legislation and stuff like that. So again, the president now making his way to the Odessa Marriott for a fundraiser for the Republican Party and for his re-election campaign. From there, he will be visiting an oil rig in Midland to talk about energy and what his administration has done to help our oil and gas industry. Of course, News West 9 will have continuing coverage of all of that. And we will also have that on our social media page. We also want to let you know the Republican candidate for U.S. Representative Mike Conaway's seat was there to greet the president today. He was the only Republican candidate endorsed for that spot by President Trump. We caught up with him before the president's plane landed. Here's what Austin Pfluger had to say.
Oh, it's fantastic, and I think that you see a tremendous amount of support for what he's standing up for, what he believes in, the road back to economic prosperity, getting us out of this pandemic, and it really is, I think it's significant because it's a silent majority that's out there, and you can see them on the road into the airport here.
All right, well, again, it is a pretty impressive sight to see Air Force One. We want to just remind you just for a moment that there is some traffic issues on Highway 80. People are stopping to take a look at Air Force One. Traffic has slowed down in some cases at 6 miles an hour. That area is 65 miles per hour. So please be careful in that area, and do note that there are several people slowing down by the airport to catch a glimpse of this plane. So here is some fun facts again about that plane. If you want to know more about it, just watch it here with us. We'll give you a bird's eye view from the tarmac. It is capable of refueling in midair. And this is one of 2 Air Force One planes. They are highly customized Boeing 747-200B series aircraft. He has pretty much everything he needs on board that plane. It is 4,000 square feet and 3 levels. To give you a little bit of an idea, you can see the people standing there below. That shows you how gigantic it is. I'm hearing right now that the president is making his way to the Odessa Marriott. Let's go to Sammy, who's standing by live.
Yeah, Crystal, it sure is. Now, it's a little bit tricky to see here. We're right outside of the conference entrance, but here behind these school buses, that's where we're told by the sheriff's office that the motorcade is going to be coming across. Now, if we can zoom in on the crowd, they're already lined up on that street there. And this is near 6th and Texas. People have been lined up along Grant. We don't think that motorcade is going to be coming around there, but we believe right behind these buses. Now, media, we're not allowed to move any closer. This has been our set area, but we're told we're going to be able to see that motorcade go in between those buses as President Trump arrives here at the Marriott for the luncheon. We're told he's going to be entering through the garage. Now, we're hoping to get shots of that motorcade arriving here. Now, it's en route. I mean, he has left the airport and they are heading here as soon as they can. And you can imagine really a high security function here. We've got all hands on deck. We've got the sheriff's office, Secret Service, police officers, security from the Marriott. I mean, we saw people in full body gear heading into the conference center where people are lined up. We can see through the windows here. Pearson, if we get a shot of this, you can see through this conference room that there are security lined up through those windows there as people get ready for this luncheon. You can see the crowd there a little bit. Now, again, media, we're not allowed to get any closer to the motorcade, believe me. We're trying. We're going to try to get some shots of that for you as the president, the 45th president of the United States, heads here to the basin. Now, people here, they are so excited. They tell me, you know, tickets were steep, as you know, close to $2,800, $50,000 for a picture with Donald Trump. But the folks we talked to, they tell us that is well worth it, and they would have donated that money to his campaign anyways. They might as well get a lunch out of it. So the Permian Basin is excited to have him here. And you know, how fitting that he's coming to West Texas, and the first thing that he does in the first few minutes in West Texas, he signs football helmets. I mean, how fitting is that? How fitting is that? Speaking of helmets, we had a few supporters in line here at the Marriott wearing hard hats. Hard hats because they are part of the oil and gas industry. That's the reason they're coming out here to show their support for Donald Trump. They are big on the oil and gas industry, and they think that POTUS, President Trump, is key in making sure that we continue to fuel the United States right here in the Permian Basin. So it'll be exciting to see later on with Tatum more than 100. It will be exciting for, you know, Tatum Gwynn to be there to see him speaking to oil and gas businessmen and women at the oil rig later today. And then, you know, security has been a big part of making today happen. It's taken a lot of prep to get ready for keeping our president safe here in Odessa. More than 100 Odessa police officers have worked to make sure that today goes safely. And, well, I'm going to have more details coming up on News West 9. Crystal, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Sammy. And of course, that luncheon is pretty pricey. We're looking at $2,500 for the lunch itself, $50,000 if you want to take a picture with the president. And then there will be a roundtable discussion, $100,000 to have a personal roundtable discussion with the president. And as you can imagine, the topic is probably going to be oil and gas. Here's another look at Air Force One. It is sitting on the tarmac at Midland International Airport. Again, a little bit of a traffic problem. People are driving by the airport and gawking at the plane, which is pretty impressive. It is 3 stories high, gigantic. If you look there to the bottom of your screen, you'll see people standing underneath the top of it, the cockpit part. Look how small they are. That gives you a good idea of just how big that plane is. 4,000 square feet, impressive. And those jets, when the plane was coming in, nobody could hear anything because they were so loud. This is one of 2 highly customized Boeing 747-200B series aircraft. It is capable of refueling mid-air, and it has all sorts of security on board. It's protected from electromagnetic pulses. It has secure communications. It actually basically functions as a mobile command center in the air. If anything were ever to happen in the U.S., it could fly the president safely. It could be refueled mid-air. Again, 3 levels, 4,000 square feet. There is a huge suite for the president, and it includes a large office, lavatory, and conference room. There's also a medical suite on board and a doctor at all times to make sure the president is safe. They also have 2 food preparation galleys. They can feed 100 people on board that plane at a time. There's also quarters for people who accompanying him, senior advisors, traveling press, those kinds of things. It also provides services when the president goes to remote locations that may not have great services, technology and stuff like that. So they're all able to do that. It is a one-stop shop mobile command center that you see there. Now, Air Force One is maintained and operated by the Presidential Airlift Group that is part of the White House Military Office. Again, big, beautiful sight that you see right there, United States of America. You also see on the tail the United States flag on there. It is huge. They do still have the door open, but plenty of security surrounding that plane right now. And again, the president is making his way to Odessa, to the Marriott, for a fundraiser. This fundraiser is not just for the Republican Party. It is also for his re-election campaign. So again, pricey tickets, but people say that's worth it. They would have actually donated, according to some people we talked to, they would have just donated the money to his re-election campaign. But now they get a chance to possibly take a picture with him and take part in a roundtable discussion. Now, let's go ahead and go to Tate Owen. She is in Odessa, where people have been kind of lining up and wanting to see the president. Let's check in with her right now to see what she's seeing out there, Tate.
Hey, Crystal, like you said, I am out here at the Marriott in downtown Odessa. So what I'm seeing right now is Secret Service keeping this area locked down. So they're not letting anybody come through here. There's a parking lot right over this way that they've been clearing people out. You can see them actively working right there. Over here in this parking garage is where we're expecting President Trump's motorcade to come through. Now, again, that is unconfirmed, but that is what we're expecting. So I will be hanging out here to hopefully get some good shots of President Trump arriving to the conference center today. Now, again, as things continue happening here at the Marriott Convention Center downtown in Odessa, we will continue to update you right here on News West 9. Crystal?
And of course, the president had a lot of people greeting him today at the airport. We're talking about Governor Greg Abbott. Also on board the plane, Senator Ted Cruz, who served as Energy Secretary in the Trump cabinet for nearly 3 years, former governor of Texas. He's going to basically be the president's guide as he meets with all of these oil and gas dignitaries and companies, representatives, things like that. We also were told that Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and also Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton was there. Obviously, a lot of people wearing masks, but we were able to confirm Rick Perry and, of course, Governor Abbott there. So we'll have more information on that luncheon coming up. We're going to check in now in Odessa. The president should be there any moment to attend that fundraiser at the Marriott.
So again, this is another look right here at the Marriott Convention Center downtown in Odessa, where we do expect Trump's motorcade to come in. So we're trying to get the best view right here off of this street is where we do expect President Trump to come in. Now, right here, you are looking at a Secret Service agent, and he is working to keep this parking lot as clear as possible. Now, back in this area, there are some people that are selling Trump merchandise and driving by, honking their horns. There's definitely a lot of energy out here today as everybody's excited and anticipating Trump's arrival. Now, I say everybody, but I use that term loosely. There are some anti-people out here. They're protesting Trump's arrival. They've got signs and stuff like that, but police officers have done a good job kind of keeping everybody separate out here. There's been no tension, so that is the good news. Now, like we said, we're awaiting Trump's arrival. He's expected to pull in this area right here shortly. I do see a Secret Service member here in this top parking lot. I'm just kind of keeping the area locked down. I've been seeing some state troopers, so I anticipate that he will be arriving soon. One more last look at this parking lot. You can see that Secret Service agent is still keeping this area clean. But, like I said, we will check back in as soon as President Trump does arrive. Crystal?
Yeah, and a quick reminder, if you are in the area of the Marriott, you probably won't be able to get through. They have basically blocked off a large square of that area, of course, for President's safety. You won't be able to drive through there. So make sure you avoid the area around the Marriott for now. The president expected to arrive there any moment. Now, after that fundraiser, the president, as we told you, will tour a Double Eagle Energy oil rig in Midland. Here's a picture of what it looks like. This is a picture from the Midland County Republican women. The president's host will be Double Eagle founders Cody Campbell and John Sellers. We had a chance to talk to them about what it means to actually be up close to the president and what he's done for our area.
We built our company from the ground up. It started out with just my business partner and I, and just the two of us. That was it. We didn't even have an office, and to now be at the point where we can entertain the President of the United States is a pretty big deal to us. Huge honor, and we're just really proud to do it.
Well, of course, in preparation for the president's visit, as we just told you, several roads are closed off, and also traffic by the airport not so good right now
Yeah,
either.
people trying to catch a glimpse of President Trump, catching a glimpse of Air Force One, and really causing some standstills, especially on 20 and 80 between Midland and Odessa. Let's take a look at our Waze maps and show you exactly where we are seeing some of these. We don't have it right now, but let's actually go to, there it is. There is our Waze maps. We'll zoom in to see if we can see exactly where these standstills are. It was about 7 miles an hour just south of the airport. Right now, 10 miles an hour, pretty much traffic right there just south of the airport on Highway 80. Probably avoid that if you can. Also, other backups here on the southwest side of Midland. Only 4 mile an hour standstill traffic right there on the southwest side of Midland. You can see right there, that's where we see that major traffic, County Road 1210.
All right. Well, again, be careful out there if you're on Highway 80. We need to go ahead and go out now. I'm hearing that Tate, the Motorcade, may be coming up to the Marriott.
All right, so that vehicle right there, I do think that is President Trump getting out of the car right there. You see those doors opening in a distance. The motorcade just drove by. Look at that garage closing right there, the secrecy. They pulled in there so quickly. I mean, watch this happening right now as he arrives. Everything they're moving quickly with urgency. You can tell that they've done this a time or two before. So let's just go ahead and watch for a second. Trying to see what those Secret Service agents are doing. They're ushering people in there. They're waving their hands like, let's go, let's go. Let's see, what else do we see? Like I said, I believe that the president is already in that garage right there. I think it happened so quickly. But you can see the end of the motorcade right there. I mean, he arrived so fast. But again, so he is in Odessa at the Marriott Downtown Convention Center right now. Trying to get you guys a better shot over here behind these officers' cars without making anybody upset. But again, I do see the cars heading up that parking garage right now. Everybody is getting in place. So this luncheon should begin here shortly. This luncheon should begin here shortly, but I will go ahead and send it back to you, Crystal.
All right, thanks, Tate. Again, the president is now in Odessa. He is going to be there for a fundraiser for the Republican Party as well as his re-election campaign. When he finishes there, he's actually going to be going to a Double Eagle Energy oil rig in Midland. It's hosted by the Double Eagle founders, Cody Campbell and John Sellers. He's expected to talk about his energy policies, loosening of restrictions, things of that nature, things that he's done to help the oil and gas industry move forward. And of course, we all know that we've been hit real hard by COVID-19. That in turn caused a lot of less demand for oil and gas. And so President says he's trying to help our area out and keep it growing. Now, we will have continuing coverage of the president's visit. We will be live at the oil rig in Midland. We'll have coverage on that, so keep it right here on News West 9. We'll keep you up to date. Also, be sure to check out our social media sites. We've got all the updates there and some extra information for you. Thanks for joining us, everyone.